but we need your help because we're not leaving. These people cannot go away. I don't know if you know this. Obviously I'm not a military expert. I didn't serve in the military, but from what I understand, you're not allowed to just leave your post when the mission isn't completed. Apparently you take an oath. You swear an oath, and you can't leave. But these folks can leave because they're on Senate time. Go ahead, go home, spend time with your families, because these people can't do it anymore. So they can't leave until this gets done. Because these people will not give up, they will not give in, and they will not relent. This is an embarrassment to the Senate, to the country, to the founders, and all that they profess to hold dear. And if this is America first, then America is fucked.
Who is Jon Stewart, the comedian who changed the news? Jon Stewart went from stand-up comedy stages to becoming one of the most trusted and funniest voices in American media. This video explores how he transformed The Daily Show into a cultural powerhouse, blending satire with sharp political commentary that reshaped how millions consumed the news. Stewart isn't just a comedian. He's a cultural critic, an activist, and a voice who used humor to tackle serious issues. This video dives into his career in comedy, his groundbreaking television run, and his work beyond the spotlight advocating for veterans and first responders. From late-night laughs to fiery speeches in Congress, Stewart's influence stretches far beyond television. Was he simply a comedian holding up a mirror to politics, or one of the most important commentators of his generation? Today, we explore the life, impact, and legacy of Jon Stewart, the satirist who made the world laugh, think, and question everything.
I was in Afghanistan sitting in a tent watching Eyes in the Sky with drones that looked out over a 3-mile period that could pick a guy off of a motorcycle without knocking over a street sign next to him. And so the idea that we have the money to make those toys and not the money to make veterans coming back from American wars who are suffering toxic exposures, not have an IT system that works. Well, somebody is responsible for that.
Absolutely.
And so to suggest that the poor DOD is being picked on because they haven't come up with a system of information technology that allows people that come home from war not to have to tell their story over and over again to people writing it down on loose leaf paper, that's not a crazy thing to ask.
Welcome to Who Media, the channel where curiosity leads the way. From famous celebs and cartoon icons to legends and hidden names, we uncover the stories behind the people you know and the ones you don't. Jon Stewart is a name that resonates with wit, sharp intellect, and an uncanny ability to make people laugh while simultaneously forcing them to think. But who exactly is Jon Stewart? Is he simply a comedian who mastered the art of satire, or is he something much bigger? A cultural critic, a truth teller, a reluctant activist who found himself shaping the political dialogue of a nation. To understand Stewart, one must look beyond the punchlines and laughter and see the man who, with his own blend of humor and honesty, has influenced generations. Can a late-night comedy show really change the way people view politics and the world around them? Stewart's life seems to suggest the answer might be yes. Born Jonathan Stewart Leibowitz on November 28, 1962, in New York City, Stewart grew up in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, in a Jewish family. Like many comedians, his early life was not without challenges. His parents divorced when he was young, and Stewart has admitted that it left him with a sense of displacement and even anger that would later fuel his comedic bite. Isn't it interesting how pain so often fuels creativity? How many of the world's sharpest humorists found their voice by first enduring something they could not control? Stewart's childhood wasn't tragic, but it was formative, teaching him resilience and giving him the early instincts to see hypocrisy and absurdity in the adult world. After graduating from high school, Stewart went on to attend the College of William and Mary in Virginia, where he studied psychology. Psychology. Doesn't that make perfect sense? After all, what is satire if not a deep understanding of human behavior wrapped in laughter? Stewart wasn't a star student, but college gave him perspective and an appreciation for observing the world. He played soccer, he struggled with direction, and he flirted with various paths before finally admitting that the pull of comedy was too strong to resist. How many of us find ourselves wandering in our 20s, unsure of who we are or what we want, only to stumble into the very thing that defines us? Stewart began his comedy career in the late 1980s, performing at small clubs in New York. His early days were marked by failure, as is often the case for comedians. The crowds weren't always kind, and his act wasn't fully developed. Yet, he persisted. Why do some people push through rejection while others give up? Perhaps it was Stewart's ability to see every setback as material, a chance to laugh at himself and learn from the experience, that kept him going. By the early 1990s, Stewart had found steady work on television, appearing as a stand-up on shows like The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and Late Night with David Letterman. Stewart landed his own MTV show, The Jon Stewart Show, in 1993. At first, it looked like a promising launchpad. The show gained traction, but eventually it was canceled after ratings dipped. Did Stewart see it as failure? Maybe at the time. But in hindsight, it was simply a stepping stone, teaching him the ropes of hosting and connecting with a younger audience. Isn't it funny how the failures in life so often prepare us for the breakthroughs to come? That breakthrough arrived in 1999 when Stewart became the host of The Daily Show on Comedy Central, a satirical news program that had been created by Liz Winstead and Madeline Smithberg. At the time, the show had a modest following under original host Craig Kilborn. Stewart inherited it, and over the course of his tenure, transformed it into something that was not only hilarious, but culturally essential. Imagine stepping into a role and turning it into a cultural landmark. How many people ever achieve that? Under Stewart, The Daily Show shifted from goofy parody to pointed satire. He targeted not just politicians, but also the media, exposing hypocrisy, corruption, and incompetence. And the audience noticed. Stewart's unique blend of humor and sincerity created a show that was both entertainment and education. For many young viewers, it became their main source of news. That's the paradox, isn't it? A comedy show was delivering truth more effectively than the so-called real news networks. Why was that? Was it because humor broke down defenses, allowing truth to land where pure facts could not? The show's rise coincided with a turbulent period in American history: the contested 2000 presidential election, the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and the hyper-polarization of American politics. Stewart's commentary during these years cemented his reputation as one of the most important voices of his generation. After 9/11, Stewart delivered an emotional monologue, abandoning jokes for a moment of raw sincerity.
Any fool can blow something up. Any fool can destroy. But to see these guys, these firefighters, these policemen, and people from all over the country, literally with buckets, rebuilding, that's extraordinary. And that's why we've already won. They can't, it's light. It's democracy. We've already won. They can't shut that down. The view from my apartment was the World Trade Center. And now it's gone. And they attacked it. This symbol of American ingenuity and strength and labor and imagination and commerce, and it is gone. But you know what the view is now? The Statue of Liberty.
He spoke as a New Yorker, a citizen, and a human being shaken by tragedy. Can comedians also be healers? In that moment, Stewart proved they could. As the years went on, The Daily Show became a cultural powerhouse. Stewart and his team of correspondents, people like Stephen Colbert, Samantha Bee, John Oliver, and Trevor Noah, launched careers of their own, but Stewart remained the anchor. He was sharp, relentless, and unwilling to let lies slide. His interviews with politicians often revealed more than mainstream journalists could get. He asked hard questions. He cut through talking points, and he did it with a smirk that made viewers feel like they weren't alone in their frustration. Isn't that what so many of us crave from public figures? Someone who says what we're thinking but can't quite articulate? Perhaps one of Stewart's most famous moments came in 2004, when he appeared on CNN's Crossfire, a show known for pitting conservative and liberal pundits against each other in heated debates. Instead of playing along, Stewart turned the tables. He accused the hosts of hurting America by reducing politics to theater and failing to hold leaders accountable. His appearance was so devastatingly effective that Crossfire was canceled shortly thereafter. What does it say when a comedian has more courage than professional journalists to challenge the media machine? But Stewart's influence wasn't just in comedy or television. He became an advocate, most notably for 9/11 first responders, who were struggling to secure healthcare benefits after developing illnesses from toxic exposure at Ground Zero. Stewart used his platform to lobby Congress, delivering emotional testimonies that shamed lawmakers into action. Here was a comedian, someone whose job was to make people laugh, using his voice to change lives. Doesn't that redefine what it means to be an entertainer? Even after stepping down from The Daily Show in 2015, Stewart's presence remained. He made occasional appearances, supported progressive causes, and returned to advocacy work. In 2021, he launched The Problem with Jon Stewart on Apple TV+, a show that attempted to tackle issues like veterans the swap, healthcare, climate change, and economic inequality. Though the show ended in 2023, it further cemented Stewart's desire to be more than just a late-night clown. Can someone outgrow their own legacy, or are they forever bound to it? Stewart seemed to wrestle with that very question. Stewart has also been deeply influential in shaping political comedy as a genre. Would Stephen Colbert's satirical Colbert Report have existed without Stewart's trailblazing? Would John Oliver's in-depth comedic investigations on Last Week Tonight have worked without the precedent of The Daily Show? His fingerprints are everywhere. When you change the way people laugh, don't you also change the way they think? Yet Stewart has not escaped criticism. Some argue that by presenting the news as comedy, he encouraged cynicism, teaching viewers to laugh at politics rather than engage with it. Others have accused him of giving too much airtime to certain controversial figures or failing to challenge his own biases. Isn't that the burden of influence? That every choice you make is scrutinized more harshly? But perhaps that is also proof of impact. No one criticizes the irrelevant. Beyond politics and comedy, Stewart is also a family man. He married Tracy McShane in 2000, and together they have 2 children. Stewart has often spoken about how fatherhood changed his perspective. Isn't it telling that some of the sharpest satirists soften when talking about family? That behind the sarcasm lies a man motivated not just by laughter, but by love and responsibility? His legacy is complex. Stewart is remembered as a satirist, a truth-teller, an advocate, and a cultural force. He is a reminder that comedy is not trivial, it is powerful. Laughter can disarm, unite, and reveal. And yet, Stewart himself would likely resist the idea of being placed on a pedestal. He has always deflected, always insisted that he is just a comedian. But aren't the people who deny their own importance often the ones who have the most of it? So, what do we make of Jon Stewart? He is not a politician, yet he has shaped political discourse. He is not a journalist, yet he has held leaders accountable more effectively than most reporters. He is not a saint, yet he has fought for justice in ways that matter deeply to ordinary people. Who else occupies such a peculiar, powerful space in public life? Perhaps the best way to understand Stewart is to ask ourselves, why did we trust him? Was it the humor, the honesty, or the fact that in a world of spin and spectacle, he seemed refreshingly human? Stewart's greatest gift may not have been his punchlines, but his authenticity. He gave us permission to laugh, to question, to feel outrage, and to hope. And so we return to the central question: can comedy change the world? Jon Stewart's career suggests it can, not in sweeping revolutions or grand declarations, but in the small, steady shifts of consciousness. He reminded us that truth can be funny, and that laughter can be a weapon against despair. And isn't that something worth remembering in a world that so often feels absurd?
I'm called anti-Semitic because I'm against Israel's treatment of Palestinians. I'm called other things from other people based on other opinions that I have. But those shut down debate. They're used as a cudgel. And whether it be comedy or discussion or anything else, if we don't have the wherewithal to meet each other with what's reality, then how do we move forward is my question.
Thanks for watching Who Media. We hope you had fun learning something new today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a story. Want to see more cool videos? Head over to our channel and start exploring.
You want to ban drag show readings to children?
To minors, yes.
Why?
Why?
What are you protecting?
Why can we prohibit children from voting, those under 18 from voting?
Why are you
but
banning?
Also that.
Is that free speech? Are you infringing on that performer's free speech?
They can continue to exercise their free speech, just not in front of a child.
Why?
Because the government does have a responsibility to protect.
I'm sorry?
The government does have a responsibility in certain instances to
What's
protect
the
children.
leading cause of death amongst children in this country? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearms.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is. It's firearms. More than cancer, more than car accidents. And what you're telling me is you don't mind infringing free speech to protect children from this amorphous thing that you think of. But when it comes to children that have died, you don't give a flying fuck